Okay, one. Hope are here. Fine. Up to now, what are the topics we have discussed? Students, we have completed. Second month, status appointment. Assurance introduction being completed, and second part, second point, we have discussed about introduction of point. Introduction of point discussed. There are this appointment we discussed and activity terms we discussed. So after that, step number 1 complete. Out of all 5 steps, step number 1 is complete. Second one, audit planning. Before starting the audit planning, I told topics I wanted to discuss. About auditor's responsibilities related to the frauds and laws and regulation and audit material. Out of these 3, frauds and laws and regulations we have completed. Okay, so today we are going to start audit materiality. Already we have discussed the semester, the same topic we have discussed, but most important point, the semester I have asked what is meant by PM, what is meant by OA, or qualitative quantitative express. In that way only we have discussed no theory, also we have discussed questions, straightforward questions. Here, this area is most popular area to test application type of questions. Sorry, KSR data, the questions, KSR data, appropriate audit material for the computer. PM for the that scenario data, how whether this material or not. Likewise, practical type of questions can be asked in this area. Okay. So, first semester foundation we discuss mean by material, how material should be determined, qualitative, quantitative, the same thing we are going to discuss. What is meant by performance material? So those things we have discussed in first. So this we will take as a division, same topic, but most importantly, next class I will upload audit material related case-based questions. That how you are going to apply the theory into the case is important. Okay, because this will be a most testable area. Testable area. So we start audit material. So after that, we are going to discuss about our audit plan and risk assessment. Hereafter, audit planning, risk assessment, and auditor procedures, all areas where we are discussing the semester, the whole concept only change. But try to do any case type of question. I will also upload any case type of questions you have to get done. Okay. So, most important point in this level, how these topics will be tested many case type of questions. Okay, that is the important thing. Engagement letter, we have discussed 3 questions. So 2 questions to a question and 1 question many case type of question. And yesterday I have frauds and laws and regulations. Okay, that also. Okay, first question, frauds. So here, frauds and laws and regulations, I have uploaded 4 questions. Each topic I have mentioned 4 questions. 4 questions based and any case type of question. Okay. So just try by your own how theory can be applied to this many case of question. I will discuss. So that's one. That's one. Okay. We will discuss that. I thought we have come back. We will complete it and then we will move on to the question said engagement letter, agreement terms already we discussed the questions. And second question said I have uploaded yesterday in relation to frost and loss. Okay, just try by and we discussed. Mix of straightforward and many case of that questions I have uploaded. And most of engagement letter, agreement terms questions I will upload. I will upload a few case type situation right? Most important right term. Okay, that is important. Then make a first question and second questions by case type of questions. Okay. First questions related to cost, second question related to those regulations. Third question also related to those regulations, but question. Questions after this, I will have a set of aggregate terms, this type of questions. Okay. I answer then on. Okay. But just writing the answer is not important. Okay. Overall, try to write the important point is today's this class we have under the classes. Okay. Classes. So just write. Important one, right? First, the case type in most important how I told you how clearly you should apply to the case. Understand any questions you can apply. Okay, clear? Just try. Trying to mix one question we discuss. I mean, I won't give the answer in time, then another. How to write answer? First question time permits to be discussed. Okay. And this week I will upload another set of adding the chart of case basis question. Another question right. What I will give answers, but what I will no answers to know. Yeah. Question we have not right answer. Open the question. If then how 2 months last month we try to okay. The answers are important. Just practice the question. Making on that, passing it marks on that. Okay, then take a home. Track it. Take it important. Take a all. Check out you can answer. Ask questions. Track it and then practice. Questions I practice. So I told you first one you have to identify the requirement. Don't read the paragraphs without reading the requirements. Second one, highlight the key points in the paragraph. Third one, link those requirement key points with your here. So those are regulations we will do only 3 pages are there. So what is the first topic? We discuss the rules and regulations. Number 1, key points you have to remember in your mind. Implement compliance of laws and regulations responsibility to social responsibility purely managed. Okay, compliances of laws and regulation in relation to the particular company. Responsibility is purely 100% managed. Okay, that is the one. Then what is the responsibility of auditor? Make a chapter again, commonly one rule. If particular topic, it can be a fraud, it can be a loss in regulations, any topic we are discussing. If that particular topic create material misstatement or not, if that creates material misstatement, that is our response. So, as an auditor, we should see how this topic will create material misstatement. That is responsible. Fraud means how fraud will create material misstatement in the financial statement. So that angle we have to do the audit. Laws and regulations means how non-compliance of laws and regulations will create material misstatement in the financial statement. That is our responsibility. The first one, management is responsible to implement the laws and regulations or comply laws and regulations in relation to a particular company. First one, clearly. So it has responsibility whether the non-compliance will create material misstatement or not. Possible ways to create material misstatement of non-compliance of laws and regulations. So now, auditor's responsibility. Auditor should take are there. How that non-compliance will relate to the financial statement. That have to that effect to the lawyer, indirectly effect to the financial statement. Directly, certain non-compliances affect to the financial statement directly. For an example, income tax, because them back related to the amount, SSCM, happy related to the amount. It goes wrong in relation to those areas which is non-compliance. Those non-compliances directly to finance. Non-compliance will not directly affect to the finance. But indirect effect on the statement, as you can see the regulations. So those circumstances will not directly affect the finance. Also enact, but penalties, fines, material can be affected. And so if you apply certain regulations, laws and regulations, that will affect to your business operation and going concern. Example, medical company, medicine manufacturing, medical company, if they don't follow health and safety regulations, whether they can run the business, If food manufacturing company, okay, food processing company, if they don't follow food hygiene related regulations, they can survive in their operation, in their field. Those are not directly affected to the fine statement, but going concern will get affected, and penalties, fine will be appeared in the financial statement. So through that manner, financial statement may create material statement. So direct effect, indirect effect, we have to see. And auditor's responsibility. So what are the audit procedures auditors should do in relation to laws and regulations? Number one, general procedures. Okay, general procedures. Number two, if specifically if you have identified any cases, what are the things you have to do? So general procedures, generally whether you have identified any cases or any non-compliance cases or not, irrelevant. You have to do in the audit these general procedures. Identify procedures. In that general procedures, we have two types. General understanding of the business, which means what are the laws and regulations applicable to the particular business, and to comply those laws and regulations, what are the steps that company has taken. Means in simple terms, how those compliances complied by the organization. So that understanding you have to get. That is called general understanding. Other procedures, board meetings, presentation, discussions, likewise, you have to do certain audit procedures. Through that, if you identify specific non-compliances, then you have to do specific audit procedures. Those specific audit procedures I have given if suspected or identified any non-compliance case. Okay. Third topic we are going to discuss is between, let's say, हमारे auditing करना हमारे कौन से करना. Let's say once you obtain the financial statement, okay. Financial statement मे financial statements डॉक्टर पास कहाँ तक का डिस्कस करेंगे ओवरऑल अपने financial statement के बाद ये financial statement का review करना पड़ता है मे कंपनी non compliance दिया ना किया ना ओवरऑल doubt पे ना evaluations मानो देखना मैं कर तो okay once you get the financial statements while you are reading the financial statement or while you are analyzing the financial statement you may get to know okay, this company has failed to comply with certain compliances. Okay, so how you will get to know? What are the situations will trigger you to get to know those things? Those are the points I have given here. First one. Once you see the financial statements, you should be able to identify what are the trigger points to state that this company has failed to comply with the rules and regulations here. First one, penalties. If you see any penalties, fine. It's straightforward, you know, some non-compliances happen. It can be anything. A penalty can pull on a surcharge, can pull on the fines can pull. So if you see anything in the P&L notes, then you can identify this company failed to comply certain things. We don't know anything. We don't know relation to what, but some non-compliances taken place. It is straightforward name. So identify the penalties of fines. You can identify certain indirect points also. You should be able to identify. Fines penalty both done or done within another person. If some other gray areas, some other indirect areas, if those appeared in the finance statement also, it reflects some non-compliances taken place here. Okay. Penalties and fines. Straightforward. Investigations by regulatory authorities and government departments. How the then companies for check now. Even non-compliance other famous one, tax assessment. If tax assessment received, whether they have paid or not, that is not relevant. Tax assessment received means some non-compliances. I can't say 100%, but they have IRD has sent the tax assessment. So now they are going to investigate about any non-compliance related to tax authority. They are investigate. So that regulatory authorities investigations. Okay. Payment for unspecified sales or loans to consultants, related parties, employees, government employees. What's this? What's this? Let's take another example. The tax assessment here. Whatever notes here, I have just try to lead to the practice example. You can understand. Penalties and fines. Second one, investigations made about the people, then you should know something happened somewhere. But it's like this. Once tax assessment, we make a point at the there can be any number here. Sometimes we land a feature here. I mean, tax company you know, one of the payment sort of as an auditor, if you see it as you should be okay. You have to see further this matter. Then non-compliances are taking place or not here. Conclusion in the past, okay, you have to further evaluate, further check those areas. Payment for unspecified sales, loans to consultant, related parties, employees. What is mean by this? By checking the documents, document. Generally, not generally. 100% auditor should rely on the external document. Most of the things. Certain cases only, we can rely on the internal documents. So, payment also the internal document. Invoice internal document, which is internal document. All the expenses we should have two types of document. One is payment voucher, another one is supply invoices, which should be checked by the auditor. Payment voucher or supply invoices. Then every payment company should maintain two set of documents. One is payment voucher, another one is supply invoices. So as an auditor, each document you will check. Payment voucher क्या कहते हैं? Supply invoice क्या कहते हैं? अरुत्रा देना 10 लाख से स्ट्रेट आ रही है 11 and sufficient appropriate in the opinion 11 and reliable in opinion sector reliable के appropriate in 11 and reliable more document more reliable than verbal. But its original documents are more reliable than copies. You know that they got the part not external documents are more reliable than internal documents. Payment voucher, the supply invoice supply invoice is more reliable. That's why always auditors check external documents. Okay, but a must check external document, not should check. must check. Take option. Payment voucher they may check for internal control purpose. Okay. So, auditor must check external invoices. That is important. Okay. Let's say payment vouchers are there, but no any external document. But in the payment voucher also, specific reasons have not been mentioned. They are not followed. The payment voucher again, just pay here, payment voucher the payment voucher description, amount, those things you have to mention. Amount mention description, cash paid, cash check. Amount $1 million, 2 million, 500,000. If you see that type of things, definitely you have to investigate. Investigate like investigate, you have to further analyze. If you notice without proper description, if you notice any payments made by cash, okay, not only for cash, any payments, check go any bank transfer, cash. So if you notice anything, then you have to analyze it. Okay. Sales commission, agents fee that appear excessive. Commission fee, right? What is the total method? I make a anti-competitive run after again my interesting maker. The not make a not only is laws and regulations, but generally financial paper. And even now, financial fine paper again. Financial then the one taking down the commission by then. Sales commission can now. A part of one, sales commission, agent sales commission. Natam may not in top welfare. The other may areas put a team for all areas, top welfare, commissions, incentives, performance bonus. They are taking them. Because proportionally they were about one thing. If variance analysis last year and current year related accounts, if you check properly, if you analyze properly, then you will identify unusual. If you notice unusual, I will tell you, definitely 80% chances are there, you can guess the problem. Variance here. If you become a 10%, 50% variance, you will pay now. 10%, 50% variance for a if bill level like something on some bad. A question issues. I will generally believe variance. I generally believe because unwanted variances cannot be happened. But business suddenly link effect sale and data set sale and cost daily salary can be, but you have to investigate. So likewise, sales commissions are sales sales okay, last year 1 million sales. This year, sorry, last year 100 million sales, this year 60 million sales. But sales commission last year 10 million, this year 12 million. Can be happen. So now the same thing, unexpected relationship with 100 million sales last year, 10 million commission paid. This year 60 million sales, but 8 million commission paid. That's also problem. Okay, how that sales or sales commission pay sales commission pay incentive pay sales sales commission pay. So these are the problematic areas. Then you have to analyze further whether any non-compliance of payments, those things are there. Unusual payments. Okay, unusual payments in cash. One more your knowledge purpose. Sometimes you would have discussed this one. If the company paid more than 500,000 by cash to anyone. Others, any transaction more than 500. More than 500,000, 5 lakhs, 500,000 paid by cash. That expense will be disallowed in the tax computation. If you pay it to the bank, that is okay. Yeah, bank they can pay it all, they capture me now. The mama 5 lakhs more, they capture now. Okay, mama business. You are my supplier. So I'm you have a supply. So you have told me that don't give me to the bank transfer. So just give me through cash. Why? You can disclose to the other. You can have me. Or you can disclose to the other. Everything idea. But disclose to the other. Cash and then we do done. Understand me? What I from the Gila, market not expect on the bank. So if I pay, anyway, I have to show my account expense. Hey, to bank. Tax claim. So then, if I pay by cash more than 500,000 to you, then I can't claim. So I will place some disadvantage. For 5 lakhs, more than 500,000. If you pay by cash, then you can't claim that. You can't claim that expense as a lower expense. It will be disturbed. It automatically bank all automatically capture it. So likewise, unusual cash payments if you see in the finance statement, then you have to check why this unusual payment has been made here. Okay. Unusual transactions with companies registered with tax. Simply saying unusual thing. That's the important thing in the variance analysis. If you are doing the manufacturing business, okay, you can't have sales income. Next, sales letter transaction, sales letter expense in a bench of audit inventory. Manufacturing company. So these are unusual things. So you have to see unusual things once you obtain the financial statements. Always you have to see unusual transaction, unusual payment. Always believe on unusual transactions, unusual payments. Something is there. Whatever unusual you are, this topic can lead to non-compliance. Payment for goods and services. Payments for goods and services made to country different to the one in which the goods and services originate. You have imported the stocks, raw materials. Let's say from UK. Okay, but you have made the payment to Singapore. The UK in the law, which the purchase color before, part of the paper you pay the reporting, but this payment has been made to Singapore. Okay, now, last year, then, man, 4 years back, when we are facing this economic crisis, foreign regulations stopped on import on the back year, 2024-23. Import on the back year stopped. Other than essential goods, you can't import. Taking a car import on the stock line, in the Eka, some other goods import on the stock line. Decision then. Area make a deal transaction for the running. If you want to make the payment to the foreign company, then some regulations you have to. Forex regulations are there. Foreign Exchange Act again. Foreign Exchange Act. That strong will be in the foreign exchange act. Okay. So if you import the goods, you have to you can settle. UK means UK, you can settle. If you notice that payment has been made to another company, located in another country, that is wrong. It's problem. If I name that, make it then make it when to move up, and I make it because for your eyes purpose, sometimes you would have learned this one. Sri Lanka. Then given after 2022, would ask strict the foreign currency. Because after this economic crisis. Okay. If you want to pay outside Sri Lankan supplier, okay, if you want to pay outside Sri Lankan suppliers, you have to pay central bank. Okay. Means you have to get the tax clearance. Tax IRD, and that must be submitted to not central bank, sorry, that must be submitted to relevant bank. If you want to make the payment to the foreign supplier, how you can make the payment? Go bank. Bank and option that option they are illegal. If illegal in Lanka, you can pay through the bank. Take an option. Then while you are commercial bank, exchange pay a kila, mom have to take on your government submit. Daily last tax year. Okay. So then you have to deduct 10% or 14% or a double tax treatment. Double tax treatment. No. So let's say India 10 or 14% you have to deduct. Likewise, every country you have to deduct amount and you have to pay. Tax clearance you have to pay. But tax clearance, certain payments you don't need to get. You can 2 weeks okay. A tax clearance, certain transactions, certain unknown. If you import the goods, you don't need to get. Right? Then you import the payment is so certain transactions you don't need to get the tax clearance. Okay. Those transactions are available in negative list here. Just understand. It is all helpful way. Certain transactions are listed out by the IRB. You don't need to take tax credit. Those six are included in negative list. Google search for negative list for the foreign payments like again. Regular import, for example, import. Now you can have 1 by every import pay, you don't need to take the tax clearance. But certain payments you have to take. Okay. First of all, you have to get the rate. What's the rate I have to deduct? UK says that over you can get on the back, transfer on the back. Then online transfer on the back, restriction down the back. The online transfer, social bank exchange on the floor. Internally on the floor. So you can't send the online transfer to another country person. Okay, that restriction is there. So then you have provided sales to me. Then I have to make the payment to you. Just like that, I can't give. Then first of all, I should take over UK, Sri Lanka, one of the tax rate. A double tax treatment. Over UK pay only tax. So the over Sri Lanka earn the money which other pay on. Foreign government pay on foreigners now. Sri Lanka and UK other double tax treatment. I won't discuss it too much, but double tax because 18% should be there, 14% should be there, 12% should be there. Certain countries, 0. So first, you have to obtain the relevant rate. Let's say 10%, then you have to obtain the relevant rate. And that 10%, let's say I'm going to pay 1 million to you, 1 million, 10%, 100,000 should be paid to a year. Okay. That is not my cost, that is your cost. So that you can claim there. That is called double taxation. May pay 100,000, then you give a tax pay make it. You can pay make a claim. Normally interest double claim. Unable. So without deducting that, you can't make the payment to the foreigners. Okay. So මේ වගේ ඒවා අතිශය වෙලා තියෙනවා මේක ගොඩක් තිබුණා මේ 2022 2023 period. කියන්නේ non compliance නෙමෙයි ඒකේ transaction. ඒක පස්සේ non compliance වුණා ඒක. මොනවද instance මේ ගොඩක් තිබුණා කියලා කියන්නේ අපි transaction වෙලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණා නෙමෙයි මේ වගේ doubtful scenarios. හරි ඒ වගේ chances දැන් කියන්නේ ඒකත් so success to country to the another country කියලා ඒක මේකේ වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා doubts තියෙනවා. ඇයි restriction තියෙන නිසා. හැබැයි දැන් මේක කරන්න බෑ. බැරි. ඒක කරන්න එක පස්සේ foreign exchange act forms නා ඒලයි. දැන් ඒක කරන්න එක අමාරුයි. 100% natural අපිට තියෙන බෑ. right? Regulations තියෙනවා. And one more thing I will tell you. That foreigner meaning, if foreigner wants to invest in Sri Lanka, foreigner, then overall investment on Sri Lankan company, just you can pay the money and you can buy the shares. You are a Sri Lankan citizen, resident person. Clear? Taking more doubts on that, you are a foreign citizen. If foreign citizen or foreign resident person wants to buy shares in Sri Lankan company, okay, shares in Sri Lankan company, then that fund should come through IIA account, which means inward investment account or something. Investment inward account or IIA account. Because let's say you are a foreign person, because you are in UK, now you want to invest in Sri Lankan company. Want to invest or you create a new company. If that fund, let's say 1 million government here, that fund should come through IIA account, which means you have to open IIA account in Sri Lankan bank. Okay, what open करना है IIA account क्या है? Sri Lanka commercial bank. Any bank you can open. वो यार foreign नहीं इधर एक account पे fund का transfer करते हैं. वो यार ये foreign account पे इधर ये local एक ना IIA account पे you have to transfer the money. Okay, from there to Sri Lankan companies account you have to transfer. एक में जो इधर आए वो यार fund later, capital invest later at the liquidation point, you can take back that one. Otherwise, you can't take. Plus, if you want to get dividend also, the same logic will come. When dividend local company pay for amount number, fund the water account transfer amount, transfer same one of the bank approval again. Bank approval के लिए होता है, tax department tax clearance करना होता है, इतना किला पाता है, IIA account थोड़ा मिलेगा कि ये ना वहाँ के local bank IIA account that should be under your name, investment, एक रखता है, okay, there is success here, and recently they have introduced the bonus back, but now only these things are coming up, making investment में loan देना भी अभी वो foreign company loan देना पड़ता है then local company our account आप क्या करना है ECB account क्या होगा external borrowing from the external commercial borrowing from ECB account ये account देकर Sri Lankan company ये वाला भी अभी open करते हैं एक any bank can open okay करते हैं loan से क्या इन्होंने एक bank पर मिलता है एक बैंक के लेकर तो बिना बैंक जाओ ये लोन लेकर आपको एक नंबर पड़ेगा टिपिकल इसी पे so this is so practical it's not related to body it's a practical thing so whenever you make foreign transactions okay in your foreign if any loan ECB account otherwise lender or investor may face, not may, they will face difficulties to get the money back. All the donation not the we hope that they do not want to problem. If they want to get back, then problem. These things must come. Okay. Payments without exchange control documentation. That's how I explain. These tax clearance, those things are. Okay, unauthorized transactions, improperly recorded transactions. So finance manager approval network, finance control approval network. Let's say you have verified 25 samples. Okay, while you are verifying 25 samples, 20 samples, they are also having approved by finance control. 5 payments have not been approved by the finance control. Now you have to check with the relevant party management why these transactions have not been approved. And you can directly discuss with the finance control. You can directly discuss with the financial controller and you can ask the question why something different. So, those type of things also trigger the points. Yes. So, many situations, one of the finance statement is here. Don't leave as it is. Just further, just analyze in detail. See, you may get to know some non-compliance or anything can be happen. Okay, these are the possible. These are the indications where you are releasing a finance statement in relation to laws and regulations. Okay. Okay, Thomas. I have uploaded the I have uploaded frauds, those regulations questions today. Those are case-based questions. Two straightforward questions. Try by go. Okay. One question in time permits we will discuss. One item and protect our question. Okay. Indicate type of questions in the second level. So in case of case-based questions only you will take. More than case-based questions. So now onwards, try those type of questions. Already we discussed acting the terms on case-based question. Frauds and laws and regulations also I have uploaded yesterday. That also check. And again, this week I will upload acting the terms another set of questions. Okay. So after acting the terms those questions, I will upload. Today we are going to discuss about audit material. Audit material team. In the first semester, we have discussed theory. The same theory we are going to discuss now also. Point eight, mark again. Second stage, audit material mark again. That's the same. But main point, you won't get any straightforward question in audit material. If you get audit material questions, that is 100% sure case-based question. Okay, 4 topics we have discussed. The same 4 topics we will discuss here also for material. Single straightforward questions you won't get. Okay. Definitely you will get case-based questions. So audit material case-based questions also I will upload. Your side, you have to do one thing. No. Print out again. You have an academic. Right. You have another 2 months. The 5th class. Officially for 6th class, but actually it's 5th class. Okay. 5th class and the 10th class are there almost 2 months. More than 2 months. Okay, let's say 2 months. From now onwards, try to write the answers for case-based questions. How to write the answers? What are the points you have to consider? A build-up paragraph. Don't until last one. So I will give the answers. In the answers, I will give how to read the answers with the AI give. But that is not important. You must understand. That understanding you can get properly if you try on. So try these questions. Are you a vertical outline? Just try. If 5 points are there in the answer, if you try, you will be able to write at least 2 or 3 points. That is enough. Now that is enough. So at the time of ending the session, you will get that skill to write the answers in the exam. So if you don't try, then problem. That's why I'm uploading the case-based question. Okay. It's all about laws and regulations. So now we move on to our next chapter, audit material. So after audit material, audit plan. Make a boring summary. ये तो मैं आदि दर्शन स्टेट का ultimate level discuss. ऐसा वाला कर पास ये उसने एक्सेप्ट करेंगे ऐसा safety है और बोल ऐसा ओपन किया तो धीरे रहेगा इधर पता safety है वाला एक तरह से नहीं एक मार्ग नहीं है वाला वाला तो रिवर्स मार्ग है आता मार्ग नहीं है और की नहीं तो वेना ये वाला क्या है कोई रिवर्स सिंपलीफाई करके हम को accept मार्ग तो audit material. What are the documents to discuss? Second topic, audit. So one. Attention. What is meant by audit material? What is meant by audit material? And why important? Anyway, here is understand the number anyway. I don't know. You won't get what is meant by audit material. What is meant by qualitative quantitative? What is meant by performance? 100% sure. 100% sure. Confirm case-based question. It's a famous area. You can test any type of case-based questions in audit material. Right? Only a question number one. Scenario data or an answer make a material leader. Make a thing audit report a read karala. Make a material the first thing that that's scenario data. Material computation overall okay. So any type of case discussion we will discuss. We will discuss. So case-based questions you can get. So if you want to write the answers for case-based questions, first of all, you should know about the case. That's the one. But you can understand it for case-based questions are bad. Number one, what is meant by material? Why material is important to audit? Why material is important to audit? Very important material. For discussing the concept, just let me why materiality. How this materiality concept is important to the audit. Simple logic. I already told in the performance our objective providing an opinion on financial statement. So, in our objective, you should keep in your mind three components. One is providing opinion. Our scope is financial statement. In that financial statement also, we are not going to verify 100%. We will focus on the material class. In our scope, our responsibility in relation to the material. In layman language, we can say significant transactions and significant. So, material only we are responsible. Like material transactions only we are responsible. If financial statements contain any misstatements, we are not responsible. Any misstatements, we are not responsible. If financial statements contain material statements, we are responsible. Clear? So our scope, financial statement, and material transaction, the financial statement. Clear? So if we want to identify what are the material transactions in the financial statement, then we should have material. We should have material threshold. Criteria for The responsibility is to provide an opinion on financial statement, whether financial statements are free from material statement. So, in the financial statement, what are the transactions material, what are the transactions not material, we should be able to identify. So, to identify that one, we have two aspects. One is based on amounts. Another one, say 10 million, above 10 million, million, below 10 million, not 10 million. You will get recognition in the world. Okay. Even though certain transactions are less than 10 million, still those are material. That take based on certain characters. So, if you are an auditor, you should be able to identify in the financial statement these are the material transactions. These are not material transactions. Okay. Then only you can give the opinion on financial statements about material figure. Here, because our scope is only restricted to financial statement and material transactions. So, there, to identify the material accounts and transactions, you should know about the material figures and other relevant topics. How to compute, how this is important, what is meant by material, how to identify material or not, those type of questions you should be able to answer. Okay. So material means number one, whether because already you have discussed these things here at the stage, so I don't need to give all the explanation from A to Z. Okay. My first question, whether material amount is equal to all the companies. Answer is no. Clear cut answer no. It will be varied. Why? In the layman language, we can say material is significant importance to the person. So, previous also I have explained. Your budget is 5,000. Okay. In that 5,000, with the budget of 5,000, you are going for all video occasion, but to purchase to buy a shirt or t-shirt. Okay. In there, you have seen 5,000 minimum amount is 5,200. Okay. So you have money. Okay, that is a different story. You have money, but you have budgeted only 5,000. With that mind, you have gone to fashion bar for more limit and you have seen no 5,000 range, below 5,000 range t-shirt or shirts, minimum amount is 5,200. Question, are you going to buy that shirt or t-shirt or not? 5,000 is budget, 5,200 is actual amount. Will you buy or not? Little practice here. You say 5,100 or 5,200. Will you buy or not? Second situation. Same mindset. You have gone to the question bar for limit. And minimum amount is 10,000. No 5,000 change. Will you buy or not? First option you will buy or second option you will buy. Right? At the ending, the budget 5,000. But actual price is minimum price is first option 5,200, second option 10,000. You have cash you have. Cash cash or but whether you will buy or not, first situation and second situation. First situation. Second situation. That's all. If statement, in this case different, okay, this case different. But when it comes to financial statement, mistake. If the statement change your decision making, okay, statement or amount, let's say particular amount or misstatement. If that misstatement or misstatement change your decision, okay, that is material for that amount. So 5,000 is material for you, but 200 is not material for you because you have fixed the mind say 5,000 means I will buy, but you saw there 5,200 is the minimum amount, but still you are going to purchase. So decision won't be changed. Second scenario 5,000, but minimum price is 10,000. You have not purchased. So decision change. So that 5,000 difference change your decision. That is material for you. Same situation. 1 million or billionaire has come. He has set the target 5,000 and minimum amount is 10,000, but still he will purchase. Right? That 5,000 is not material for him. A 5,000 kilo, 10,000 kilo, million again, the billion again, 5,000 may budget එක මගේ 10,000 තමයි minimum price එක තියෙන්නේ නෑ 5,000 වැඩි කියලා යනවා නෑ you will purchase that 5,000 is not important for him you will purchase so that is not material for him why we are saying that is not material for him that 5,000 has not changed his decision okay the key point if misstatements affect to the decision making of financial statements users, that misstatement or misstatements called material. Okay, individually or in aggregate. එක amount එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් amounts group එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, accumulated amount වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක that misstatements affect to the decision making of financial statements users that is called material. That is called important. Right? That has changed your decision. That has affected your decision. Okay, so that is what material. This is an important material කියලා කියන amount එකක් නෙමෙයි පොඩි private limited company එකදී. Like private limited companies turnover per year maybe maximum 50 million තියෙන පුළුවන්. Okay, small but daily transaction 50 million. Yes, so, volume size of the business material never will be changed. So, over the material million material very concept. Okay? So, this importance, this material, this significance will be changed, will be varied company to company. Clear? So, definition of material is Okay. If statements affect to the decision making of users, if statements change the decision making of users decisions, that is called validation change. Individually or in aggregate. एक amount එකක් statement වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ඔක්කොම decision එක change වෙන්න පුළුවන්, කරන්න පුළුවන්. Or some kind of certain amounts. Accumulated amount also will change your decision. That's why we call individually or in aggregate. It's what is materiality? I have highlighted information omission or misstatement would either individually or in aggregate influence the economic decision of users taken on the basis of financial statement. Correct? Okay, if amount omission or misstatement affect to the decision making of financial statement users, then that is clear. Key 3 points. Statement, individual aggregate, influence the application. It will be vary based on the size of organization. Volume of work. Heavy secretary material level private company. Private company can low amount of material amount. That is not a material for heavy and fixed size organization. Okay, we vary. They concept it clear? Okay. Second one, determining material. Determining material. Determining material. So what is meant by determining material? You know what is meant by material. If an amount commission on statement, if that amount commissions on statement affect to the decision making of finance statement users, that is called material. Clear? Now next step, how to determine the material? How to decide this is material, this is not material? Okay, so how you will compute the material? That I will discuss in the third topic, but fourth topic. But you know, if amounts affect to the decision making is material, then you have to define it. Material, make transaction material, make transaction material. You should be able to identify in the financial statement. Okay, so how you can identify these transactions are material and these transactions are not material in the financial statement? How you can determine that decision? You can take in a two way. Number one, by quantity. One, by amount. It's called quantity. Okay, by amount you can define this is material. These are the transactions not material. Let's say, for example, 10 million is material. Okay, 10 million is material. So above 10 million transactions, you can categorize material transactions. Below 10 million transactions, you can categorize immaterial transactions. So by amount. So how you can decide 10 million or 12 million or 5 million material? For that, we have some basis. That basis we will discuss in our fourth topic. Already we have discussed. but again we discuss it as a fourth topic. So, for example, profit before tax into 5%. Revenue into 1%. So, likewise, you can decide material. Let's say profit before tax is 100 million, the organization 5%, 5 million. So now you can determine, okay, 5 million is the material amount. Above 5 million, I can say all the transactions above 5 million, I can just write material cost. All the transactions less than 5 million, I don't need to bother. Let's say revenue 100 million, 200 million, 1%, 2 million. So 2 million, above 2 million transactions material, below 2 million transactions. Okay, so that's how by amount you will determine, you can categorize material and immaterial. Clear? Second category. By nature. Okay. Certain transactions by amount, certain transactions are not magnitude. Okay. By nature, even though those transactions are less than the amount wise material, we should consider certain transaction as a material transaction. Okay. Because of by nature. That type of transactions, number one, all related party transactions. Okay, related party transactions, irrespective of amounts, you have to consider. Why we have to consider related party transactions as material transactions? You have decided 5 million is your material. You have decided 5 million is your material, and you have decided, and you have taken a decision about 5 million, and you say your 5 million I want. So related party transaction is 2 million. Okay, below 5 million. But still you have to consider that 2 million is the material transaction. By related party transactions, because of the related party, the parties who involve the transaction may influence that relationship. Great company, parent and subsidiary, so the parent and associate, like that, main company and associate company, and parent company, same group companies, a company relationship. Parent, same parent, that's not affiliate companies. A company is a parent entity, common parent company. A company has B company and C company. B company and C company, they don't have any relationship directly, but they have common parent. So that is also parent company. Again, company still again. So those are different companies. Better companies who have better transaction influence are beyond 2 million transaction by amount, it's not material. But actually, if the transaction on market price would be okay. So third party can transfers to the transaction income to long. For example, let's say they want to sell a vehicle. Okay. A company has a used vehicle and they want to sell a vehicle to B company. If they sell that vehicle to the counterpart, independent person, that vehicle price is 5 million. Okay. Because of they are transferring that vehicle to intercompany, limited company, they put the price to 2 million. Then they material. It's not material, but your material amount is 5 million. But if that has happened in the market price, okay, then this transaction is continued. Like 5 million is taken, 5 million, 6 million, they will sell. But because of related point transaction, it is the price 2 million. So that influence, they have influence in this transaction. But the influence, whether influence it. Because of that, you can just like you can apply a box. You have to consider this transaction as a material transaction. This has not been paid at arm's length price. Arm's length price are at the arm's length price. Arm's length price is not general layman he came on the market price. And then came up by a company, for a printing company, and not other company, shareholder, and the main people are shareholder company. One of two companies. One company, APS, private, 7 private. Now, A company, private, is going to sell the goods to B private. Whether they sell the goods in the market price or lower. Company, both are your companies. Okay, now A company would sell the goods to B company. Obviously, A company will sell the goods to B company at low price. 90% chances. Same. That is not part. The influence they use. If you are A company, your company, if you want to sell to third party, okay, third company, so they will sell at top price. So that's why arm's length price concept has come. Irrespective of any other transaction, the transaction should be made in an arm's length price. If that, for example, if that transaction would have in the market price, that transaction might be regular. But because of various point transactions, they reduce the price and they sold. So, if you see by amounts, that transaction is not material, but by nature, okay, this is a key point. Various point transaction is a given in the audit. Very risky. Okay, we have a payment on the number of practice. We are a payment. So, we is so bad. They find we don't make up take up a pan expense. We know. Yari company doesn't know. Where make it? Yeah, regularly. Never know somebody. Mata. Function in the full for excuse for knowledge purpose. If any transactions have through bank cash, even for specific bank, if any transaction happen through bank, commissions will not be taken by if any transactions happen in bank transaction, payment law is going okay. Through bank commission cannot be if commission happen also in bank. Because it is bank regulation. Iya, memantai tadi bikin dari rekonsiliasi karena rekonsiliasi karena mereka kan saya pikir kalau ada investigator lain lebih public if that third party is that recipient made by third parties already rekonsiliasi mau ini jadi apa katanya dia katanya kalau dia kau ini kalau tadi dalam segi rekonsiliasi karena orang sing instruksinya orang sing instruksi dia rekonsiliasi karena boleh rekonsiliasi karena kita orang और देख पर भी कौन आता है कौन ऑडिट है बेटे ये करना मेरे का से निकाल देता है ऑडिट के करना ऑडिट सामान आ गया लेकिन ज्यादा नहीं लगा पड़ी लेकिन है ऑडिट सामान वाला नहीं मटेरियल दिया वाला डिफरेंस है यूजर का पर मटेरियल नहीं था अब तो अंतिम में रेलवे पड़ी टेली नहीं है वो काट था मोकड़ा का ये रेलवे था मटेरियल बिल्डिंग का वाला क्या रेलवे था ये मैं even if the options 100% sure. Like banking, every month you have to do the reconciliation. Banking. For credit card reconciliation, some companies they may do. Controls of property, those companies they may do. But general practice, every party internal. How do you have a put off down? Put a reconciliation. The group balance. So omissions can be taken place this type of transactions. Hey, how reconcile करना है? ये omission है तो मतलब full omission में ना charge full हो. ज़्यादा time का करना ये चांस से ना full होगा. So credit card transactions is the most riskiest part in the world. Okay, orang ada kecil kan करना है credit card credit card ini. एक प्रश्न नहीं करना है एक follow date नहीं. But is most riskiest. वो क्या करना पड़ा मैं बोले मौके में आगे या पे कर पूरा मैं आगे रिकॉर्ड मैं आगे रोन दिया और दैट एक्सट्रा माती किया है कई वगैरह दिया थोड़ा देर करना पड़ा so this is riskiest that's why we are saying irrespective of amount any related by transactions you can consider that as material. And second one and disposal include accounts. Very example, whatever I give in first semester, this you have to understand. Make a annual meeting, with the again, accumulate disposal. A company has a lot of subsidiaries. A parent company has a lot of subsidiaries. All subsidiaries are having big amounts. In billion. Recently, a company during the audit period, a company has purchased acquired another company. Okay, that company need to be incorporated. In transactions, there is one transaction on which capital and expenses are there. But during the year, a company has acquired that company. Okay, here, if you compare that A company and other subsidiaries, this is a small company, immaterial company. By amounts, it is immaterial. But other companies are having assets, liabilities, turnover, expenses, profit, billions. Okay. Question: even though this newly incorporated company, immaterial by amount, can we eliminate from the group accounts? When you are in the consultation, can we eliminate? Why eliminate? Okay. So consultation, you have to take. Irrespective of amount, the consultation purpose, you have to be the account. If you are the auditor of group accounts and the management ignore that company in the consolidation, then you have to pay. By nature, this is material, you have to pay it to the consolidation. If the companies are assets, millions of the input, if companies are assets, just 50,000 input. I companies are turnover 100 million input. A company can come a turnover after an input. still you have to pay the consolidation account. Right? What's meant by migrate? The commission from statement effect to the decision making. So if you miss this one, okay, this new confusion in the consolidation, this shareholders they know that okay, you will operate company, economic operate company, the company. Regarding corporate and new product line up, it is done. Okay. Ini banyak integration yang aneh, solution if we know because of the human laws, omission, the so even though this omission will affect this mechanism. So acquisition or disposals have to take as a material solution. Anyhow, anyhow, because you have this package taken there. As I told this, is this. So here you understand. So here, but I don't recommend the material. And what you know, basic base there, you will just post. Okay. Based on percentages, check the certain things are there by nature. An acquisition is possible. Consolidation. It's very close. Very close. Example, liquidity risk, financial issues, banks. Invalid. You can if you take a bank, you have only one bank. So that in accounting the bank. And at any point, you want money, you have to be able to get the money for them. So, seriously, and any more money to be available. Okay. These things are not linked to the those are not in the financial memos. But let's say you have now you are 10,000, 50,000 something. Now you want to get from 50,000 from that saving account to 80. And you enter your PIN number, but message has come. Enough money is not available. You have the money. You know you have the money in your saving account. But here, bank is in a position to give the money to. Okay, say popular. That's something popular. You will recommend this bank and any other person. Immediately, you will transfer. But your purpose has not been fulfilled. Get the money from the bank. Obviously, So now you will transfer the money to another. So decision making is this transaction as expected to the decision making of your decision making. You have changed your decision. I am going to withdraw the money from this bank and I am going to deposit another. This liquidity problem. 50,000 withdraw from the bank things are liquidity problem. Decision change the. So that is material. If so that final statement. The 50,000 withdraw from the bank which is another final statement knowledge. Revenue expense again assets independent of that. Reflected on the final statement. But finance institute should specifically mention the liquidity, the state of liquidity. Okay. So, irrespective of the amounts, those are met. Okay, that's the need of by need of quality by the determining quantity, percentage, the quality. So these are the examples I have given there. Activation, quantitative exposure, actionable financial reporting framework. They have here no makeup important. And one more thing, this activation disposal. Right. Okay. We'll have maybe that. Okay. Guys, okay. What are the okay. Third topic in audit variability different. Third topic levels of material. Levels of material. There are 3 levels. Overall materiality, performance materiality, and last one significant audit difference. It's called OM. This we say BM or tolerable error. TE. After discussing this audit materiality, you should know when you are auditing the company, what is meant by material, how you can determine the material level. After that, you should know what are the types of material, the levels of material. So here, first point. Previously, we have discussed when we were discussing determine the material levels. Two ways to determine the material we have. One is by amount, another one is by quality, which means nature. Let's say, let's take by amount. Now you are going to audit a company. That company profit is 100 million. Okay, that company profit is 100 million. Clear? Now you are going to do the audit. Before you perform the audit procedures, what you should do? You have to do the plan. What are the audit procedures I should do? What are the risk areas that we discuss in audit planning? But you have to do the plan, audit plan. So let's say to do the audit planning, first of all, you should know my focus is only about material transactions in the financial statement. So if I want to focus on material transaction, then I should know what are the transactions and what are the accounts material and what are the transactions and accounts are not material. Clear? So to identify, to get the answer for that question, I need to calculate material amount, material criteria or material threshold. Clear, Nathan? So that material threshold, I can use 2 ways. One is by amount, another one is by nature. Okay. So we take by amount. Once you get the financial statement of the company, now that financial statements indicate 100 million is the profit before tax. Okay, 100 million profit before tax. Okay, so now you have You know 100 million is the profit before tax of the company. So now you have to compute the material amount. So that material amount, let's say 100 million into 5%. 100 million into 5%. What is this 5%? Why we are taking 5%? Already we discussed. Again, we will discuss last topic in the audit material. Okay. So this 5% I am telling, that's a guidance given by the standard. Okay, you are discussing the first level. So some guidelines given by the standard to compute the material amount based on the financial statements. So based on that guidelines, we can compute the material amount. Okay, so based on that only, I have taken 100 million is the company's profit. Out of that 100 million, 5% we are taking. 5% we are taking to compute the material amount. So what is the material amount here? 5 million. Okay, based on this computation, based on this computation, based on this computation, we can take one amount, 100 million, 5%, 5 million we have taken. That 5 million called overall material level. Okay, that is called overall materiality level. Okay, this overall materiality level, listen carefully. In the engagement letter, we have discussed our objective and scope. We have to mention what is the objective and scope, what is the responsibility. Explain for known engagement letter again. Engagement letter again, we are using a material statement. Our responsibility to find a mistake, material statement. So wherever auditor mention these words, material mistake, material, that word refers OM. Clear here? When auditor says to public, my objective is finding material mistake. My responsibility is to finding material mistake. My objective is providing opinion whether financial statements are free from material mistake. Clear? So wherever auditor says material statement, material word to the public, that word refers overall material. Clear? Explain. What are the situations auditors express their responsibilities to the public? What are the ways? Number one, engagement. The public means third party. Let us start we are saying this is our responsibility. This is our responsibility. This is my objective. We will tell to the directors no. So the agreement, that agreement we are calling material statement. That material statement, material term refers to it. In audit report, first level we have discussed. In our opinion, we will tell these financial statements give true and fair. In other terms, these financial statements do not have any material mistake. That material statement refers to it. So wherever auditor explain about his responsibilities, its objective to another party, when they refer material word, that material is OM. Again, why we should come to P? And what is meant by performance? Simple logic. Already. Then let's say you have a vehicle, a motor vehicle, or you have a car or something here. 10 million worth of vehicle you have. Now you want to sell that vehicle at 10 million. Okay. Your mind you fix the price. If I get 10 million, that is enough. Okay. But when you are communicating your price range to the buyers or market, whether you will tell 10 million or more than that, you will go. More than that, you will tell, right? That's the reason. Negotiate. Logic negotiate. Let's say you will tell 10.5 or 10.2 or 10.3, and buyer will come and he will negotiate. You can finally you end up with 10 million. But in your mind, you want only 10 million. No, I say this one is 10 million, that is enough for me. But when you are communicating that one to the market, you will get with the SSN 10.3, 10.4, 10.5. You have to achieve that 10 million as a final price. Likewise, even though you are communicating to the market, the users of the financial statement, this is my material, this is my material that you are there. When you are performing, you have to take like your 10.5, 10.3 million that price quoting. Here, other way around, you have to take lower amount of material. By lower amount of material we have to take, I will just do a bit example. Let's say few transactions are there. If you take a overall material as 5 million, if you do the audit by taking 5 million as a material level, what are the transactions you will check? 9 million you will check, 8 million you will check. Right? You have computed OM as 5 million. So below you made a decision, below 5 million is not a material. So I should consider only 5 million. So above 5 million only I should consider, and I have checked these two. Okay. But what is mean by material? Usual or inactivity. Cumulative amount. Cumulative amount also should not exceed the material amount. The cumulative statements also should not be a material statement. Accounting one statement. Cumulative statements also should not exceed the material amount. If you don't check these three transactions, if you check only 9 and 10, if you miss these three transactions, 2, 4, 1, let's say this 4 million entirely wrong, this 4 million also entirely wrong. Okay, but you have not checked. Why you have not checked? I have taken 5 million as a material amount. So these transactions are less than 5 million. Because of that, I have not checked. But these two transactions contain 100% material. Material statement aggregate value is 6 million. What is our material? 5 million. So if we check only these two transactions and if we provide the opinion, we have given a clean opinion. There is no any material statement given. But problem, these two transactions aggregate value of the statements more than our material. So wrong. Opinion is inappropriate. We have given wrong opinion. Okay, we have failed to achieve our objective. Here, to avoid this risk, to mitigate this risk, auditor will take another level of material called performance material. Okay, that performance material, auditor will take overall material into 60 to 80%. Okay. Another material level, auditor will take, while he is performing the audit, he should take another material level less than the overall material level. In my car sale example, if you want to achieve 10 million, you will say 10.0, 10.5. While final amount you have to achieve 10 million. In this case, if you want to say no any material statement, it means your calculation 5 million. You want to say there is no any material, there is no any misstatements more than 5 million. Individually or in aggregate, then you can't check only more than 5 million because you are doing the audit sample based. You have 100 records in the final statement, you will not check entire 100. You will check only material account. In that material accounts also, you will check sample based. Let's say property, plant, and equipment is the material account. In that property, plant, and equipment, during the year, 50 additions are there. You are not going to verify entire 50 additions. You will verify sample accounts. You will focus on only material accounts. In that material accounts also, you will focus on the sample accounts. So, not check areas are more. So, that not check areas, cumulative effect statements should not be exceeding overall material. That purpose, we will take lesser amount as a material to perform the from the plan to providing the opinion. Okay. Now we will check this one. 3 million එක check. දැන් අපි කියමුකෝ මේ transaction එක entirely wrong කියලා till that is less than 5 million. Now we can say we have not checked this 2 million and 3 million. It doesn't matter because that even though 100% issue na prashnak has still less than 5 million. So now we have that's why when we are performing the audit, we will take lesser amount as material to mitigate these things. It's called reduction. Because we are doing the audit based on the material accounts, they are also we will check only sample. So not check areas are more. Check කරන්න බෑනේ. එක check කරන්න බෑ. මේක risk එක තියනවා කියලා we can check 100% 80%. That's not possible. Whatever software you use also you can't check. Okay. So this is the matter. So lower amount we will decide and we will take that amount as a material when we are performing the audit. That's called performance measure. Okay. Other word we are saying tolerable error. Okay. Tolerable error. Why we are saying tolerable error? We can tolerate one of the meaning. Okay. We can tolerate misstatements maximum 3 million. Okay. This gave 3 million. Right? By 3 million. If any misstatements you notice more than 3 million, you should ask management to rectify that. Right? We are not checking entire 100%. Check කරපු නැති areas උත් තියෙනවානේ. ඒක check කරපු නැති areas එකේ mistake one accumulate කරලා එනකොට submit වැඩි යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා අපි identify කරපු mistakes more than 3 million. Like our performance metric is 3 million. If identified mistakes are more than 3 million, we should ask management to rectify those statements. Then if they rectify, then mistakes will come down. 4 million, let's say, 4 million, verify you have identified 4 million mistakes. Entire 100% mistake. Now you have to tell to the management, rectify this issue. If they rectify, then there is not a mistake. So, up to 3 million, we can tolerate mistake. If mistakes, errors exceed more than 3 million, then we have to ask management to reduce the mistake, means rectify the mistake. Then we have the comfort of check areas more than 3 million man. Is we check areas mistake make 2 million comfort then we can give the opinion stating that no any material statement which means more than 5 million only. Okay. That's why we compute another lower level of material called performance material. Then why this is 60-80? That's a range. Okay, that is not hard and cost to take 60% or 80%. That's the range. Okay, 60 to 80% you can take any range, any amount to compute the performance material level. It's like this. Let's say then there are confusion in the 60 okay. When we are discussing this overall materiality guidelines, also the same concept will come. Let's say when you should take 60, when you should take 80. What about in between percentages 70 or 80? We will talk about the lower amount and higher side. I have mentioned here 60 to 80%. 5 million over here. Okay, 60 to 80% I have to. So one auditor can take 80%, another auditor can take 70%, another auditor can take 60%. when you should take 60, when you should take it. Before the result. High risk. What is meant by high risk? What is the risk of you? Education is great. How is it? Only you are being mistake. But the risk. Last minute. How is it there? I have the part. How make them level in the end? It can make it, you know. So, generally, what's the subject body? What is the amount of dinner? Another body. The amount of dinner. If you want to, you can like that and so on. Then, you can't figure it out and you can't, you know. Nothing. It could be the immediate. But another. One of their subjects, financial and subject, what is advanced management? Advanced management account. Corporate accounting and corporation. And corporation accounting. Something like yeah. Audit management accounts. Third one. Method model. Amit dekha namak tane extra model kiya. Method model. Now, I'm going to audit. Yes, sir. You know what? Don't be. Okay, then subject passed in on to the 5 subjects. All 5 subjects, whether you will spend same time. So in this subject, let's say if you want to pass all 5 subjects, all 5 subjects have not same difference. Yeah. So if you feel one or two subjects difficult or hard, then you will spend more time. Because you take difficult subject will be more time spent. That's why almost everywhere in a subject, we don't take label. Difficult subject more time spent. Each subject okay, you spend time, but less than compared to difficult subject. Same concept. Okay. If you feel high risk company, A company, B company, 2 companies are there. A high risk. What is meant by high risk? What is your objective? Finding material statement, which means finding material statement, and we have to tell if those are rectified, and we have to tell pre-form material statement. That's the objective. Then, put on material statement in a company or high risk. There are less statement in a company for the high risk. That also I will tell you with the numbers. A company, you may feel 50 material statements can be happen. In C, B company, so around 10 material statements. Which company you feel is high risk? A, why? Like the numbers are going to give a lot of change to after. Make understand concept. Because why I am saying like that, if you want to give opinion, say in opinion, if you want to give then you have to rectify, you have to identify all 50 material mistakes. If you identify 49 and if you miss one, it's also a problem. In this side, only 10. So less risk. It doesn't mean you can't do the, you should not do the audit. You have to do the audit, but less risk. So if you feel high risk, then high risk means lot of material statements are there. So if you want to identify those material statements, you have to check more transactions. If you want to check more transactions, then you have to take low percentage or high percentage. Conservative, high material, highest material statements are there, high material statements are there. You have to find out those material statements. Then you have to perform more audit procedures. Okay. Then if you want to perform more audit procedures and more samples, if you want to check, more transactions, if you want to check, then you should take higher rate of, lower rate of higher. Lower rate, then only high maximum number of transactions you can check. That is the reason 60 and 80. If you feel that company is high risk, lot of material statements are there, 60% you have to take. If you feel okay, based on the past experience, based on the nature of the entity and the financial is strong, so the reasons are there. So based on that, if you feel that company does not provide more material statement, then you can go and get higher percentage. Okay, in this case, I take 50% means 3 billion. Okay. Auditor will not tell the material amount to the users. Okay. We have discussed the audit report also. Auditor will not tell to the shareholder this is my material amount. Okay. But in the working papers, he should keep those factors. Minimum review, reviews the papers, then he has to justify the rationale behind the magnetic computation. Okay. Significant audit difference, OM into 3%. Okay. So why significant audit difference? We should take. Let's say you have taken property, plant, and equipment is a material element. Right? One of the material elements. Then in that property, plant, and equipment also, you are not going to verify 100%. Material element කියලා ගත්තා කියලා ඒකට 100% එක කරා දැන් ඒකෙම ඔයාලා sample check. Okay. So in that sample, we will discuss the sampling method also. In that sample, lot of methods are there. How to do decide the sample. So to take the sample, the auditor can use one of the methods, this SAT also. About let's say 5 million, 2 or 3%, 150,000. 150,000. So that more than 150,000 amount you can take as a sample. Less than 150 you can, but it is not an hard and fast rule. One of the sample method. Okay, your judgment. That I use කරගන්න කියලා මේකම use කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, so that is that significant audit difference. Other word we are saying trivial method or trivial. Yeah, I have put the level of clearly trivial, which means significant audit difference. So these are the three things. Clear? Makeup not करना. Overall के words link डाला not करेगा. तो मैं makeup PM के तरह entry.
Recording देना है
Performance material. Okay, this is important. This is important. PM. PM or E. Performance material. An amount set at less than materiality for the financial statements as a whole. What is meant by financial statements as a whole? Financial statements as a whole means OM. Okay. An amount set at less than materiality for the financial statement as a whole. The simple word, an amount set less than the overall materiality. To reduce the risk that the aggregate of smaller misstatements in individual account balances or class of statements would exceed materiality for the financial statements as a whole. What's the meaning of that? To reduce the risk that the aggregate of smaller misstatements. In our examples, that 4 million plus 2 million brings more than 5 million. So aggregate amount that risk must be reduced. For that, we will set lower amount as a material for performance. Okay. Guidance. Don't get confused determining the audit material and guidance. Okay. Determining the audit material එක කොහොමද decide කරගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන එකට base වෙනවා. Okay, by amount and by each. Here, how to calculate the material? Okay, by amount now, ඒක කොහොමද calculate කරන්නේ? Okay, so that guidelines given by the standard. Number one, here you have to remember. Number one, there is no any hard and fast rule to compute the material. Okay, clear? මේ percentage තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ, මේ basis තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ කියලා no any hard and fast. Clear? ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ යාළුවෝ. Number one. ඒක තමයි ඔය කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ විදිහට තමයි ඔය කරන්න ඕනේ. වෙන options නැහැ කියලා එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. ඔයාලගේ hard and strict. But standard has given some guidelines. We should use that guidelines. Based on those guidelines, we should compute the material limit. Okay. So this is purely OM. Yeah, I'm talking about OM, not PM. Based on the OM only, you will take PM. Okay. So some guidance given by the standard. Okay. Before that, this material, what is meant by material? an amount of omissions or misstatements will affect the decision making of users. So decision making is the effect on the mono finance statement. The amount to reflect. Okay. For that, we are using some guidelines. In addition to that, other aspects also there. After discussing this one, I will explain that one. Otherwise, I will get confused. In this section, we have two boxes. The two boxes there. Number one, I have put some first box. I have put some points. That points I will discuss after discussing the second box. Okay. So, if you want to decide the material amount, first option you will go by amount. There are two options, by nature and by amount. So how you are going to compute the material by amount? Okay, based on the finance statement, you should calculate the amount. The material. So how you are going to calculate the material amount? Material by amount. For that, standard has given some guidelines, benchmarks. Okay, some benchmarks standard has given. Some basis has been given by standard. Profit before tax, revenue, total assets, net assets, total liabilities, expenses. Likewise, based on the financial statement accounts, class of accounts, and account balances, standard has given some basis. You can select any of the bases. Okay, that is one. In this basic is like a percentage only. So percentage also, standard has not given this percentage. Standard has given range. In that range, you can select 1% based on judgment. If you take profit before tax, 5 to 10%. If you take revenue as a base, 0.5 to 1%. If you take total assets, 1% to 3%. If you take net asset as a basis, 2 to 5%. Likewise, some ranges given by the standard. So in between these ranges, you can pick 1%. If standard does not give ranges, what will happen? Standard rules are standard guidelines in the back. If standard does not give guidelines, what will happen? Anyone can take any percent. We will take 50% check excellent material level. So they can manipulate. To avoid those things, standard has given guidelines, reasonable guidelines. So we should, based on those guidelines, we should select the percentage and base, and that percentage and base must be justified. Make a professional judgment. This is professional judgment. In professional judgment, they can hear that. So professional judgment must be justified. So if you take PBT, why you have taken PBT, you have to justify. Out of this PBT, if you take 8% or 7% or 8% or 5%, whatever percentage you take, that percentage must be justified. Okay. If you take revenue, you should tell why you have taken revenue. If you take total assets, why you have taken total assets. So you must be able to justify it. Clear? Not only this judgment, any judgment taken by the auditor must be justified. If we cannot justify, and if we is having a question to justify, then problem. Clear? I will come later this part. Benchmarks. The following benchmarks and percentage may be appropriate in the calculation of materiality for the financial statements as a whole. Again, I am telling as a whole means OM. A word overall material level mind material for the financial statements as a whole. Technical wording. Just we say normally overall material. Okay. PBT 5 to 10, revenue 0.5 to 1, total assets 1 to 2, net assets 2 to 5. Okay, this is the benchmark. Take a general practice. Okay. Once you obtain the financial statements, you will calculate the material level based on this. But one thing I want to tell, auditors always, to whom auditor is reporting? To whom auditor is reporting? Shareholders. What is the objective of shareholders? Your shareholder run the company. What's the objective? What's the objective? Sales company. And what is the objective? Profit making. So profit is the objective. You have to get the return. So to whom auditors are reporting? Shareholders. So auditors should think. Shareholders are think auditors are thinking. So because at shareholders representative only auditors are checking the financial statements. So auditors should think on behalf of shareholders, and if shareholders' main objective is profit making, then we also should consider profit is a fix. By default, profit is a fix. But it is not a hard and fast rule. Even though Islam young, like profit is very now. Losing on the back. That company has incurred loss means you can't take the material based on loss. Losing on the back. 8 million profit last year, this year has 5 million loss, 5 million loss again, material contribute to another. So if company has made loss means you should take revenue. Next criteria. So again, basis judgment here. Then liquidate करना company. Liquidate करना company एक ना, एटा निता liquidate करने ना, एटा से करना गाड़ना. ये वक्त ये ना, revenue प्रति company, loss company. Fourteen point गाड़ने. Recently incorporated company. Recently incorporated ये बना नाम incorporate कर दिया. Next the time जब वो last year incorporate करा दिया वाली company अब revenue ने profit ने कितना गाड़ने. Assets. Recently incorporated, they have invested in assets. Likewise, the main of Kamai Kirana. But my decision, I should be able to justify. His decision, he should be able to justify. That's why I call professional judgment. Okay, I can say, this is this company, so I will take profit before tax 5%. The auditor can say, no, this is not this. But he has to justify on what basis it is not this. I have to justify on what basis is this. So if I justify other case study against subjective matter, where the was they justify kara marks. Make case study. Top level case study so that case case study का मेमत देना बोला मेमत देना बोला. पर where the लिया था encourage करना है where the लेने के लिए. But this is the practical. So if you wrongly answer one point, but if you justify that answer reasonable facts, then you may get answers, you may get marks. Okay, but the thought of marks in it. Again, it's hard case the anyway. Yeah, general subjective matters. You know, make a target on the board, make a target on the board. If you can justify, if you can justify, then you will get marks. The same thing here also you can apply. Whatever decisions you are taking, that must be justified. It is important. It is most important. Okay. So these are the percentages. Apart from this amount, some other basics also auditors can say. One is elements, assets, liability, that is okay. Based on elements you will take. And second one, whether there are items on which users tend to focus. If shareholders feel this area is a critical area for them, if they feel that investment is critical area for them, based on that account or based on that we will take a decision, then we have to consider that. There is also material, right? Material means if that affect to the decision making, that's material. If shareholders like decision making element one or item help that is material. Okay, so we have to take this as material.
Nature of entity, industry and economic environment. Entities, ownership structure and financing. Relative volatility of the benchmark. So likewise, few factors must be considered when you are selecting the material. Okay, apart from this one only I have explained here in detail. So not only this one, you should know. Other than this, some other factors also auditor should consider when he decides the material. Clear? So general practice, most of the cases is the lead, but these are also there. If karna kila make natural name, may the consider karala shadows like on one of the special areas here. Take on special areas. Focus that method also there. Clear? That's all about material key. I will upload this with certain questions, case-based questions in relation to material. Okay. I will upload bit of history. Okay. And I will upload first of all just finish this important materials. After that, I will upload engagement letter, I think the terms, second set of cases. Okay, case study questions. So up to this point, material is over. Any doubts? Both four topics we discussed. What is meant by material? How you can determine the material by amount and by quality, by nature, levels of material. There you should know why performance materiality is computed. That's a key area there. And last one, benchmarks, guidelines given by the standard to compute the material. These four are the material concepts of material. Okay. So after this, we are going to discuss about audit plan. Same concept, but we have discussed stage one. Same concept will come here. Few new parts are coming. New parts are available. Few new things are available. That I will tell you. The concept is same. Whole concept is same, but new concept will come. The main part is the same. Planning term stage one is stage two is concept. But some new things are there. I already uploaded the video. Just go through and go through your selecting forms. Same command DNA. Take a recurrent in the next class. Okay. Understand? Okay. First question. For here, scenario is first question is the case study. So like requirement. You can see in your LMS. I already uploaded. What is the requirement? What are the requirements? Based on just 4 marks. Okay. Based on the information gathered from what about the marks? That's the important point in your case study. Based on the information gathered from the scenario above, recognize 4 red flags. 4 red flags that indicate possible fraudulent activities taking place at TN government. So what is the requirement you have to identify here? Based on the scenario, you have to identify the red flags. We have discussed the red flags. What types of red flags? Types of red flags tomorrow. Types of red flags discuss kar rahe hain. Types of fraud and red flags hai na. What are the types of fraud? The types of fraud. The other types of fraud. First one, fraudulent financial reporting. Second one is misappropriation of assets. So fraudulent financial reporting red flags, misappropriation of assets. Right, that. So now you have to read the case, the scenario, and you have to identify not only 4, if you can more than 4, just identify. You just identify, you don't need to explain. Okay, just try. Next class only I will give the answer. Just try now. By reading the things, just you don't need to write the answer. Answer clear no. Answer objective. Just identify the red flags. Highlight karla, point forming highlight karla. Okay. Next class I will discuss the answer, but now you have to identify the red flags and you have to tell me. Okay. Just identify the red flags. You don't need to write the answer. If you want, you can see that. You can't see the board and you can see elements. Next class, I will give the book. Continue again. Next class, I will give the group assignment. Group assignment is related to then again audit softwares. Audit softwares. Discuss audit softwares. Audit firms are used to audit softwares. Okay. So you also have one topic audit softwares, but so while you are doing the assignment, we will discuss. But that one and this one you don't need to mix it. First, you get the practical knowledge. Audit software, what are audit software used in the audit firms, and the plus and minuses, how it helps to audit those things. While you are doing the presentation, group report, we will discuss the DM. Okay, next class I will discuss the group presentation topics. Okay, 3 weeks you have to complete. But in here class either 40. Okay, group coordinator. Okay, Mr. Coordinator, same person. Yeah. Group में मामला decide करना होगा ना. First time को इस knowledge set करेंगे. And calculator है. बहुत. And group में program decide करना first time. Numbers के plus 60 weeks.
54 from agency version. That is from our French, not extension.
No, I don't know. So you can't do the APC separately and other one, no. So everything. Altogether, 90 the exception. And exception. 69 APC. Then online fee never give. 93 exception. Okay, so that was not 90. 90 exception. APC. I'm not going to stay one same class. Same examining. So altogether, that beginning is enough. Around the 61, 61. What is 70? And increase only now.
60 people are there from their bench. From upper 50.
16 no members. How can I mean? Or 5 members, 1. 70. 70 7 to 10. Okay. 7 members can do. 8 members are 7 members can do. Well, let's say 10 members 7 members 10 group. 7 members 10 group. Any comments? Any? Presentation 10 members 7 group 7 members 10 group. 7 members 10 group. Okay, can I cut here? 7 members 10 group. Okay, can I cut here? 10 members 7 group. हमारा ग्रुप नंबर के साथ वाला पांच जरी हमारा एक ग्रुप के मैं ग्रुप के बैठ के हमारा अपन का दान की बात है ये है नेक्स्ट क्लास को कॉपी के देना होने यू आर द फर्स्ट कोऑर्डिनेटर बट maybe say the part of like saying that way 7 into 10 that 10 into someone like that much तो हम सब का करो पर बेचना ना शॉर्ट टाइम से सारी के कैसे जाते हैं आगे बस ऑफिशियल पेन टू सर प्रॉब्लम हमारा कभी का बस प्रॉब्लम आगे में का हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन कर रहे हो अगर वो four, 5, 7 into 10. 7 members 10 because 10 means 10 into 7 10 members to your percentage allotment. That is the right there. So what are in hada board in negative then so 7 effective okay conditions ready and आता पाप करने के मामले ले से जाता है 7 ना 10 into 7 ना like 7 reports नहीं 10 reports ना very एक मतलब disadvantage but presentation focus करना तो loss 7 reports okay so we will go and take 7 into 10 7 number 10 okay group stages under the pick of this exam I will tell topic and the guidelines only 3 weeks. Other more audit from the person at net audit from audit software I will multiple from the free from the man. More audit from Japan. power in it, next thing I will give from there. I make a point here, points here. I want points, okay? I want points. Don't write the answer, just write the point and discuss. Yeah, the phone में गुड़ा तीन आया वास वाली को गुड़ा तीन आइडिया का लिया करना पॉइंट है कि दिखाना पड़ेगा ये Actually, what is now 3 to 6 class in the world? Huh? All of them. बहुत आने का नहीं आने तो बैठ कटर क्लास है वो कटर क्लास है जनवरी Sundays 3 to 6 yes I not only this week after receiving the timetable only I got to know that you don't have the classes today 3 to 6 Shall we discuss? We do like this.
I also taken the question in the LMS and I will show the view. From there, we will link it. Okay. The question red flags. Okay. Now you have to identify the red flags. Don't write the answers. I will give the answers next class, or I will upload the answers. Take a while. Just understand how to write the answers. Now you know what's the requirement. You have to identify the red flags. So those red flags have been given in the scenario. Certain things explained in the scenario. So now you know the red flags. Clearly, this one and this few red flags. Okay. By reading the scenario, you should be able to link this theory. So theory only. So one by one we will see. Your audit manager in charge of Tech PLC, TM, a large listed company in Sri Lanka, TM, and steel pipes, and undertakes the large government contracts. You have worked on the TM audit for a number of years since you joined SAM Associates. The auditor of TM says it is incorporation. Your team has gathered information during the planning of the audit of the financial year end 31st March 2020. What is the point you can here know red flags? Here you can understand you have this company, this audit firm has long-term relationship with the, means long-term they are doing the audit for this PLC. Okay. And one more thing, the problem is in Sri Lankan context, more than 7 years, one audit partner cannot do the audit for PLC. The partner rotation should be done. Okay, now we will read the scenario. During your review, the following information was known. The chief executive CEO of TM Henry has been promoted internally during the year from his previous position as CFO. He has been promoted from CFO to CEO. TM has recruited Raj as new CFO. Just explanation. Take a plan. Where do you want to reflect in? The senior management of TM has close professional and personal relationship with the CEO, who is very dominant and controlling person. Okay. Third point, the CEO is always interested in increasing TM's share price. What's the problem? Always he wants to increase the share price. How organizations, companies share price will go up? Share price and BSAA, CSE market, share price will increase. Based on the performance. If dividend, if the company gives more dividend, share price will demand will increase. If one of the criteria, okay, one of the criteria, one of the criteria, if let's say you are an investor, within a funds and investors here, well, investor cash. So if company's performance is good, then if that company pays high dividend, then you will invest. If you invest there, automatically demand will go up. If demand goes up, price also will go up. You get a meaning? So company performance increase karana, company share price increase karana. Okay, so if you want to increase the company performance, so it's share price, company performance will go up. If company performance goes up, how we can increase the company's performance? That's the risk of overstating the profits. Okay, overstating profit. So the auditors like in this state, focus is data, unwantedly they may increase the profit. That is one red flag. Clear? That point is one red flag.
financial reports are significantly stronger than competitors, with little or no difference in operations. Take a last transaction. Okay, fine. One by one, we will discuss. So that one of the red flags. Next point, the structure of compensation packages for both CEO and CFO will depend on profit of team. Red flag. Red flag. Yeah. You mentioned here, right? Target pressure, even at the name. Performance targets. The target pressures and the CFO. I think I have explained this one. While I was explaining, I have explained that CFO, CEO, if they get the incentives based on the profit, they will overstate the profit. Okay, that's the point. You may write that point also in the red flags. Okay. So if CFO, CEO, or finance manager, finance controllers, if they earn incentive, if they get performance bonus, incentive, commission, not commissions, incentives, then always they try to increase the profit. So that is one of the risk for frauds, right? They can reduce the expenses and they will boost the revenue. Bogus entry they make fast. Okay, to boost the revenue, large transaction made at last meeting that results in large revenues. Like March month again, unwanted bogus entries profit very karana. Like if they increase the profit only, they will get high percentage of incentive. So performance wise incentive bonus are given means that is the red flag. But the red flag, unwanted profit overstatement might be there. Okay, that is also one red flag. To maintain the line of credit, TM's agreement with bank includes several stringent governance, and one of these revenue target. Bank has given the revenue target, you have to achieve this revenue target, then only we will give the loan or something. Okay, so then to achieve that objective, loan revenue might be overstated. Bogus entries they can put. Okay, so that is also one of the red flags. Understood? Clear? Any doubt? Management performance is measured in terms of year-over-year revenue growth. Performance is measured in revenue growth. The revenue bogus entry is done. So all these three related to revenue overstatement. Okay. The internal audit department was established last year to assist the board of directors in their oversight of TM. However, the department operates under very restrictive management conditions as the CEO determines their scope of work. Internal audit appointed internal audit scope of work, CEO. Restriction strictly monitor. Reports operation restriction than more restrictional scope. So they can't do independently their work. So restrictions CEO is putting. Why? CEO might have done unwanted things. If internal auditors do their work without any restriction, they may identify this problem. CEO fraud internal auditors the scope independently they may identify this fraud. Okay. So because of that, CEO is involving regularly their scope of work. Is disturbing their work. So if that type of things are there, then that is also one of the red flags. So here, internal audit operates under very restrictive management conditions. So this is the theory. You can link with the case. The internal audit department was understaffed and mainly tested selected internal controls from an operational perspective, rather than testing internal controls related to financial reporting. They did not have direct line communication with the board audit committee. Their work also not in a satisfactory level. They are checking only selective processes
So that is also red flag because they are not covering all the internal controls. So uncovered areas could lead to material misstatement in the financial statements. Okay, I come करना and they even directly board committee करते हैं direct relationship पे करते हैं report करने हैं. So even though internal auditors are there, they are not performing their work in a proper manner. Okay, because of that, internal control and internal audit inefficiency and ineffective will lead to material mistake. Okay, that is also one thing. The journal entry, formal accounting and control processes are in place, but the CEO explained that expectations are made for the betterment of the government. Last month, the journal entry testing revealed some large and unusual journal entries approved by CEO. These entries appear to increase inventory and reduce cost of goods sold during the last quarter of the year. The CFO and accountant could not sufficiently explain the entries. Last minute entries. Here we have mentioned of large transaction made at last minute that result in large revenue showing quarterly and annual reports. Last minute, some bogus entries have been passed by the account division, right, to increase the revenue and profit. But that instruction was given by whom? CEO. Reasons could be anything. If they increase the revenue only, they will get the performance bonus, incentive, objective can be anything. So they have increased the revenue, last minute passing the last minute journal entries, bogus entries. Then those journal entries are not justifiable. Explain करना है, यही में तो पास करेगी. Okay, so अब क्या हुआ है? इस तरह का दिया किया, ये दायना. Ogalan gila nikah accept करना है. You will ask the supporting evidences. Why these journal entries have been passed? You have to investigate. You have to ask explanation. So when you ask the explanation, they are not in a position to explain properly why they have passed these journal entries. If they struggle to explain journal entries justification, then something wrong somewhere. Okay, so these are the red flags given in the scenario. So now, how to write the answer? Red flags are there. So you have to identify 4 or 5, 6 red flags, and you have to give because of this could be happening. Namely, both okay. Clear? Understood? So next class I will give the answer. So likewise, try other question also. So you know the theory, you know the case, read the case and read the requirements and the case. And yeah, I didn't give the answer, just told what are the red flags. Okay, so next class I will give the proper answer, red flags. And likewise, try other questions also. Try current network videos, okay, so they will discuss audit material. That's all. Thank you.